But one area I think they've really dropped the ball on is education, particularly schooling and the messaging around that. Now, today in Queensland, for the second day in a row, the homeschooling portal crashed. There are calls tonight for Grace, the Education Minister, to be sacked over this. This is a really stressful time for parents without having to worry about their kids' education. Many parents right now in Queensland are stressed. We see Gladys Berejiklian talking about taking New South Wales students back on May 11. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to my brother who's got 3 children between the ages of 6 and 10 tonight, and they're in the country. His wife works in a hospital, so she's a very much frontline worker. He's trying to work from home and school 3 kids. And he was saying we've got to the situation where we can only really do it over the weekend and into Tuesday and Monday and Tuesday. And the kids then, when his wife's not around and they can't share it all because he's still got to work, they sort of take their weekend at the end of the weekday. And I think parents are all just trying to cope. It's not easy if the parent's trying to work in a full-time capacity from home. I get all of that. What's interesting in all of this is, for the first time in a long time, I think people in the states are having a good look at the state leaders, the state education ministers, the state treasurers, and obviously the premiers. Most people in most states would know 1, maybe 2 people in state politics that they could recognise the name or the face from. Not many would have a sense of the ministry or indeed even the opposition. And might surprise people to know, but the number 2 paid politician in Australia is Daniel Andrews, is the state premier. So they're paid very, very well. They have these jobs for a longer period of time than most MPs have their jobs in federal politics. So is the lack of scrutiny of our state. So I hope out of this, you know, the states run schools, the states run hospitals, the Commonwealth runs Medicare. There is a constitution in this country that divides up the responsibilities, but too often the states get away with blue murder. Too often they get bailed out by the Commonwealth because it becomes a political sore and the Commonwealth wants it to go away. I really hope out of this we hold our state governments to account, and in Queensland you've got that opportunity come October.
Well, former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull gave you a huge rap today on ABC Radio when he said that during the Abbott government you basically ran the country. What were your thoughts when you heard that earlier today, Peter Credlin?
About as fanciful as I find the rest of the bloke's book. I mean, there's no one that he doesn't go after. You know, there's no one in 700... Like, here you are, a former Prime Minister. You've had the honour of leading a major political party in this country, and then you get the honour of leading our country. You would think if you were going to sit down at your desk and write 700 words, you talk about where Australia was headed, so some of the challenges we would face as a nation, some of the issues that are front of mind for most Australians if they were having a barbecue with their mates on the weekend. What would they be worried about? What would they see as the good things to protect and preserve in our country? Instead, he wants to you know, shoot arrows at every single one of his former colleagues. I mean, Julie Bishop was a mate, and he doesn't spare her. He said she was not likely to be leadership material and things like that. I mean, I think it speaks volumes for the man and the character of Malcolm Turnbull. It doesn't speak to anything about the character, in my view, of the people who were in and around his time of politics. And I say, look at the scoreboard. I worked for a Prime Minister that took 25 seats off the Labor Party, and Malcolm handed Labor 14 seats on a plate back in 2016. This book will be his epitaph. This book will be his tombstone, because this book says everything about the man. He thought, I think, that this book would explain away his failed time as Prime Minister. It just amplifies it. It just amplifies it.
Game, set and match, Peter Credlin. Just quickly, will you be downloading the Tracer app?
Yeah, I have no issue with it. I mean, if I went down the street right now and went to the supermarket, my car GPS and all the CTV cameras and probably my ATM card would tell you more about where I've been than this app would. This app is only relevant when it's talking to another phone that's got the app. And of course, then it's only triggered if me or the other phone, the owner of the other phone, ends up testing positive to COVID-19. If it means we can all get out of our homes a little bit sooner, then that might be the case. So I'm all for it.
Well said, Peter Credlin. Great to have you on Sky News Across Australia.